Scorpio, welcome to my channel. It's Romy. This is your April 2024 soul story if you've had sun rising or moon in the sign. I'm hoping some of these messages might resonate and help you to navigate your way through the month. So we're going to open up with the Alchemist, the Magician energy. There's certainly an intensity to April. Multiple options feel possible and viable, and it's going to help bring about a greater degree of intentionality from you towards plans that you have. You are going to have to be determined though to maintain your focus, because there's going to be an awful lot of energy influx around you. We open up April with a Mercury retrograde in Aries, and there's important pieces from the past that want to be acknowledged and recognized that are here to support you moving forward. In fact, the revelations will be coming thick and fast in April. We're also going to have a solar eclipse coming, this significant conjunction between Jupiter and Uranus, and of course the full moon in your sign. So you have a huge culmination coming by the end of April. Everything feels somewhat exaggerated this month and heightened, amped up if you like. There's an accelerated feeling, and that's going to help you, but in some moments it will also feel like it is hindering you, a little bit of one step forward, two steps back in April. This is why the determination with that intentionality that you have will make all the difference to keep forging ahead. It's really important that you don't extinguish things that matter to you, the vibrancy and the passion that you're bringing to situations. You know, this is very much about you really feeling into this kind of new version of yourself. You know, so many identity constructs you've outgrown, expectations you've moved beyond, and this is the work now, to settle into this version that you've birthed and to let these revelations and reflections kind of guide you somewhat. So the Magician is also asking you to, I think, bring about a creative solution to something, which might mean that there is an adjustment or some sort of rearranging that needs to take place. In fact, rearranging could be quite the order of the day in April, with plans sort of being a little bit disrupted with Mercury as well. We need to be careful that the levels of frustration don't get under your skin a little bit. It's certainly something that in Aries energy can happen quite quickly. We go from 0 to hero. Now you have Six of Swords, so there's this sense of like moving on, and after the kind of storm we do have a much calmer energy coming through here. So I will say that, you know, with the solar eclipse new moon coming in on the 8th, what's set to be presented to you, or what's coming through that might feel somewhat disruptive in your own energy field, has the experience of sort of blowing up and calming down very quickly. So however you feel into it and however it presents itself to you, it's a momentary experience, but you know, the effects could be quite long lasting, which means that any epiphanies that happen for you, any breakthroughs that come, any changes or decisions that are made, or just where fate steps in and intervenes, even though in the moment it feels like, gosh, that was intense, like be prepared for sort of what comes from that experience to be something that is actually going to continue to sort of ripple out and have more and more of an impact on you moving forward. Now, of course, in Aries energy, we're looking at that 6th house for you. So there's an awful lot about your physicality, your health and well-being. So that might be a huge focus in terms of what presents itself in and around this eclipse. But it's also just kind of how you're showing up to life. You know, some of those day-to-day approaches and attitudes that you have to sort of make things work for you. You know, a lot of this might be going through a bit of a deconstruction phase, and you might be looking at something in and around that time of the month and going, just this is not going to work for me anymore. And that simple decision, that simple choice is going to be the thing that really helps a complete shift in your life. And April is going to be one of these. You walk into the month, you walk out of the month in a very different place. You're going to feel very different. You're going to experience yourself in a very new way. And of course, this full moon that's going to be dominating the month for you in your sign is asking you to let go, which doesn't mean that you are going to miss out. You can accept the validity that something just is no longer required. The energy isn't needed in order for you to keep growing, to keep thriving, to keep being. And sometimes we don't even realize that it's just time to move on or to let something dissolve or fall away. Now we've got the Three of Cups here, and there is a beautiful sense of a celebration coming in. Perhaps something's been really hard to make happen. The nice thing with retrograde is we can get back in touch with people, we can find the reasons, and we can be reminded of what was important, what mattered, something that we missed or just didn't have the opportunity to be realized or manifested. So I have a sense of you just kind of finding the time, because your plans, whilst incredibly intentional towards certain priorities, are also highlighting to you the significance and importance of doing things that continue to kind of make you happy, and just finding the time and space for that to be. Okay, we don't always begin the hero in our own journey, Scorpio, do we? Sometimes we become the hero through the courage and the relentless devotion to showing up, to witnessing, experiencing, and honouring what we go through. And I think there is a moment of you really recognising, and I think there's also a celebratory experience that comes from that with Three of Cups that says, you know what, like I've done it, I've been through this gauntlet, or there's something that I've achieved or accomplished, and it's really important I just take stock and take a moment through the course of this month to recognize, because if I keep forging ahead, like I miss the most important, valuable lessons that have been learned, and really taking the time to kind of witness with yourself how you've changed. There's certainly a feeling in April of you sort of being the observer in your own life a little bit, and that's also helping you to clarify what it is that you want. And I think there are certain areas that what you are looking for, Scorpio, is clarity. You're looking for open communication, for commitment. You're looking for consistency. You're looking for compassion. And, maybe that's representative within the groups, within the family unit, within the experiences of who you're choosing to spend time with. And I do believe that you have this trust and this knowing that the way something is unfolding, even if it feels a little bit unexpected, out of the blue, is going to come together and serve you in the highest possible way. Like, I think you're being given that sort of intuitive download. So regardless of how much something just feels a little bit upended, nothing in life is to be feared. It's about the curiosity to try and understand it. And I think you're really taking that on in this sort of observer capacity that I see for you through the course of this month. Now, when we shift into Taurus season, of course, it's 7th house energy for you, and we're really highlighting in and around what's going on with relationships. And then on the 20th, Jupiter conjunct with Uranus and Taurus. Last time this happened, 1941. Huge opportunity for financial surprises and shifts and changes to take place around this. But you also have relationships revelations going on. So something being announced or happening, especially close to home. We've got 10 of Cups, 10 of Coins here. So it does feel like there's a sense of achievement, fulfillment, and something being addressed that also heralds like the end of a journey, that full moon coming up in your sign. Now, it could be something that kicked off back at the new moon in your sign in October 23, but what we might also be feeling into is that this is something that's almost been in a state of metamorphosis for some time, and the surprises and the way in which something is brought to light for you or happens very quickly, very suddenly, the eclipses, the conjunction. This is like, 1 minute, 1 minute you're here and these are the plans that you've got and this is what life is, and the next minute everything just feels like it's been rearranged and reordered. But as I said, you're maintaining your focus, you're being able to move on, you're still celebrating and recognizing, what's been achieved. And so regardless of sort of what happens in the short term, remember, any storm, any anarchy quickly dissipates and dissolves and brings you to a place of a greater balance within yourself to understand what this now means. And as I said, the most important thing for you is not extinguishing, who you are, because the passion that is available to harness and be directed with Aries season can really enable you to get something off the ground, and forge ahead and have the motivation and the wherewithal to kind of make it happen. Even though there's this arc of sort of frustration energy all the way through April that wants us not to force anything, you actually seem to be dancing with this energy quite freely. Perhaps the intensity just is something that you can acclimatize more quickly than some of the other signs due to the nature of your capacity to regenerate, rebirth, and just sit in the discomfort of experiences sometimes. It's not something that you're afraid of. You're not afraid to face things. And what's really interesting for us is we have Juno, the asteroid goddess, stationing direct in Virgo on the 21st. Now, she's been retrograde since the 12th of January and in Virgo since October 23. So we were poring over the details of where we were unhappy or disgruntled, or things were no longer working for us in our commitments, agreements, relationships. And that felt like quite a critical analysis, if you like. Here we are arriving at like this new level playing field where we get to negotiate improved terms, renew things, seek out a better way, a better approach. And I see you doing that from the capacity of like, these are my priorities, these are the things that matter most to me, and this is what it's going to take. And, being open with that, being willing to have the discussions and sort of moving in harmony much more. And so whether this is coming through in, legalities and any renewals or, agreements that you're having to address, or whether it's much closer to home in the relationship front for you, especially as we move through Taurus season, what you're set to see happen is an opportunity to feel a little bit more secure with how you can build upon something. That Four of Wands is bringing in for me the capacity to say, there's something here, and if we get this agreement or this commitment in the right way, now I'm going to feel much better about it giving me what I need, the space, the oxygen to breathe, the terms, whatever it is that you feel is now much more applicable to who you have become and how you are seeking to live your life. There might also be something going on a little bit closer to home, particularly within, the home environment. There might be some shifts or changes that you agree upon, or that get sparked off through the course of this month. For some of you, that could be a little bit more dramatic, so there may be major decisions. A house move could be on the cards, major renovation, someone could move out, someone could move in, but there's set to be through the month of April like major life-changing events that are set into motion and continue to shape the narrative for you all the way through the remainder of this year. Now, as that full moon comes into your sign on the 23rd, what we want to do is, I think, address where the struggle is no longer necessary, because you are being asked to kind of, find like a finite line in the sand over something. And I see a little bit of conflict with it. Maybe there's something that is within you that says, I'm not quite ready to let this go, or to kind of acknowledge that I've outgrown this, or that this is no longer really relevant for me. And perhaps that, phrase, how is this relevant? Where is this relevance in my life? Like, that's something that's going to be going on around that time. I also think that you're going to have the difficult conversation at that moon. You're going to feel very empowered, and as a result of a lot of what's already gone on through the month, it's almost going to give you the green light, if you like, to raise something or bring something through. And, I believe that many people have been sort of in a way kind of waiting for that, or expecting it to some degree, and I think it also just helps to clear the air. It will dissipate things. So as stormy or as challenging as it may be for some of you, I think what you'll also find is that there's a huge weight being lifted from you as you come out of that moon. Mercury stations direct, so any sort of conversations earlier in the month that felt like a bit challenged, or where things were being a bit lost in translation, or it was difficult to draw the correct conclusion, also seems to get cleared up actually quite quickly before the end of the month. It's packing a punch, April. A lot is put in a very short space of time, and that's what I'm saying. Like, you literally will come out of the month feeling incredibly different to how you entered it. It's exhilarating, right? But at the same time, it's going to be pushing and pulling you in all sorts of directions. So if you're new to the channel, our last 3 cards we cover in the extended version of my reading. You can find the link for this in the comment and description box underneath. We'll look at a personal card and a relationship card as well for you in the extended. So I hope you'll join me just to receive deeper insights for your month ahead. I'm just going to go ahead and clarify these cards, see the direction we're going to be taking this for you as well. Huge opportunity with Jupiter conjunct Uranus, as I said, for major financial prosperity situations to be changing. My sacred soul support this month is about elevating your prosperity consciousness. And I've also put together a journey with Juno, the asteroid goddess, to see how you can work and harness her energy more effectively. So you can find these along with ways to work with me, all my sacred titles, over on my website, romywiser.com, and you'll find the links for that below. Everything that I do just created to support you and help you on your spiritual journey. Okay, Ace of Wands, Queen of Wands here. Got the Hierophant. What about this 3 of Cups? We've got the energy of death, Justice, and another Magician coming through here. 2 of Wands, 6 of Wands. Okay. Another 10 of Cups coming through here. I think there's set to be some unexpected but really beautiful surprises that come through for you, actually. The attainment of something that you've been seeking and longing for. Certainly news or events that are going to bring a smile to your face. At the same time, there's also so much going on. You might actually find that, you know, it takes a while for it to kind of sink in, or for it to land for you, or even for you to have the time to properly celebrate it. You know, you might be so kind of distracted or dealing with other things that it's just going to take a little time to find the space. Okay, so this is Life Soul Vision Oracle, which is my own deck. So if you're new to my channel, please do check it out over on the website. We've got Crown Energy, Activations of Wisdom. We have the Guide and the Gift. We've got the Queen of Air, Light Language coming through. We've got the Spirit Wolf, the Rainbow Dragon, and the Wild Rose. And we have Full Moon, beautiful, for the month where we celebrate your full moon, Scorpio, Soulful Surrender. Okay, and then let's have a look at a couple of oracles for you. So this is for Scorpio for April. Sensuality, feminine wisdom, and passion. Beautiful. And then finally an astrology card for Scorpio for April. What do we have? Let's have a look. We've got Pluto coming through, rebirth. All right, Scorpio, I'm going to leave it there. I hope you'll join me for the extended. I wish you a beautiful month ahead. Check out all of the ways in which I can support you over on romywiser.com, and I'll see you in May.